In Pokemon Legends ZA Ranked, when you load into a game, you can get one of 3 maps. Today, I'm going to talk about what makes them good, bad, and rank them from worst to best. Last place is a difficult choice, but I have to go with the Wild Zone 3 map. This place is incredibly tiny, and that's its biggest problem. It becomes a slugfest immediately. Everyone is getting up in each other's faces. You have no time for planning or strategize when you see your enemies, and it heavily nerfs range moves. Both because it's so tiny you can't sit back and snipe, and because these dang benches get in the way constantly. It's also super easy to spawn camp here. If you're on either of these sides, your spawn is tucked into a corner and you can't really run away if someone sits there and decides to earthquake spam or something. I think if you took the benches out of the map and made it like 10% bigger, this is actually pretty good, but until that happens, it's probably my least favorite. Second place is going to go to Street Map. This is easily the most polarizing map. When you spawn, you're directly next to an opponent. You can instantly lock onto them, that's how close you are. And 3 things can happen here. You either have a winning matchup and you force your opponent to swap or run away, and you have a losing matchup, so you have to swap or run. Or you both have Ampharos, so you just handshake dual screens and then run to the other side. You're also extremely far from the other 2 players, so a lot of the time this devolves into 2 different 1v1s. This map also has tons of hazards to block attacks. Telephone poles and trees are everywhere. I think it's fair to kinda call this a skill issue, but playing around them is annoying since you don't have full control of your Pokemon's positioning. This map also has an issue with spawn camping because each player is shoved pretty far back into a corner, but it's nowhere near as bad as Wild Zone 3's map. The positives here are that this map is actually kind of open, so once the 1v1s end and everyone starts fighting each other, the playing field is pretty fair. You can actually position and space properly to engage or disengage how you would like, and strategize. I think if the starting positions were changed to some other configuration and some of the poles were removed, we'd actually have a pretty good map on our hands. The last and best map is the Pond map. Here, each player spawns at a reasonable distance from one another. Even if people to your left and right are bad matchups, you still have time to disengage properly. It's also harder to be spawn camped here because no one is very confined. This map is pretty large, letting isolated fights break out, but since there's a clear middle, there's also plenty of room for clumping and letting ranged attackers eat them up. Maybe it favors camping/range a bit too much, but I haven't found it to be frustrating in the same way the other 2 maps can be. The only thing here I would change is the removal of benches. These things have to go. I really hate the move blocking. What do you think of my ranking? Let me know your own down below.